Welcome back to the YCN Year in Review. I'm Mike Pizzone. Well, there were plenty of memorable moments on the playing field as well, so let's take a look at some of those sports stories you'll be talking about well into the new year. First on the list is a remarkable milestone achieved by one of Newport's finest student athletes in Spencer Coronis. And the senior point guard picked the perfect time to accomplish the feat in front of a packed house with rival Stevens in town.
We had plenty of action in sports over the past few days, but nothing more exciting than the Newport boys basketball team's 84-61 win over rival Stevens on Friday night. Emotions were already high heading into the contest as Newport celebrated the contributions of the team's 5 seniors before tip-off. And fittingly, it was a milestone reached by Newport senior Spencer Coronis that really brought down the house. The game's outcome had already been decided by the time Coronis netted his 28th and final point of the night midway through the fourth quarter, but there was still plenty to celebrate at the basket. Not only did the score put the home team ahead by 21 points with less than 4 minutes to play, but it more importantly marked the 1,000th of Coronis' illustrious high school career. Friends and family couldn't help but storm the court to celebrate the feat, and Coronis was presented with the game ball and flowers, which he promptly offered up to his parents.
That means a lot, growing up here and knowing expectations for myself that people had, I'm very humbled to score 1,000 points. I'm grateful to be on that board with 14, 15, how many other people there are. I mean, it's a great accomplishment. First off, it's not an individual thing, even though it is. I still got to thank my coaches, my teammates throughout the whole year, not just these 4 years, but when I was little. And most of all, I got to just thank my parents for all of this.
Obviously, it's exciting for everybody. I've seen a few 1,000-point scores over the year, but I've never seen the court rushed when it's happened. Just a great milestone for Spencer. Tell you how much sometimes coaches know. I said, you're not going to get this tonight. You're 28 points away, so don't let it weigh on your mind. You're going to have another game or two at home. If it happens during the playoffs, which it will, great, but don't let it affect what we're doing tonight.
A couple weeks later, the Sunapee girls basketball team took to the court for a chance to win the program's first title since 2007. And the top-seeded and unbeaten Lakers didn't disappoint once on the collegiate hardwood of Plymouth State University, fighting their way to a gritty win over Colebrook.
It was an action-packed weekend for area basketball teams as 2 local squads capped off undefeated seasons with the state championship. I headed up to Plymouth State University to watch the top-seeded Sunapee girls basketball team take on second-ranked Colebrook in the Division IV championship game. The unbeaten Lakers headed into the contest with memories of a disappointing loss in last year's title game, but used that fuel to their advantage Saturday to clinch an 80-72 victory and the program's first title since 2007. Sunapee jumped out to a quick 6-0 lead behind 3 straight buckets from sophomore Katie Frederick, but the Mohawks battled back to within 2 midway through the final quarter. Luckily for Coach Tim Latour's team, however, the Lakers finished the job, outscoring Colebrook 10-4 over the final 3.5 minutes to seal the victory. Katie Frederick led Sunapee with a game-high 25 points, but it was her whopping 37 rebounds that really turned heads. Faith Larpenter added 13 points for the Division IV champs, followed by Lexi Hamilton, including this nice inside move, and Sydney Clark with 10 points apiece. Anna Richardson, Mary Grizana, and Megan Frederick each finished with 6 points for the Lakers, showing just how far depth can take a team. I spoke with Anna Richardson, Lexi Hamilton, and Katie Frederick after the game, who all spoke to the satisfaction of getting the job done and capping off a perfect season.
It's an amazing feeling. Our team did so much together today, and it was well deserved.
It's just the greatest feeling in the world, Every moment this year, this is what we've been working towards, and to have it finally and just that hard work pay off, it just means everything.
After the celebrations winded down and winter turned into spring, those girls from Sunapee kept on winning, this time on the softball field. And just like in basketball, the Lakers headed into the championship game at Plymouth State University as the top seed and heavy favorite to win it all.
All week we've been bringing you extended highlights of the 4 championship games held this past weekend featuring our local teams in the Twin State area. Today we're wrapping things up with the Sunapee softball team's historic win over Moultonborough in the Division IV title game at Plymouth State University. Despite being in unfamiliar territory in what was the program's first trip to the title game since 1975, the top-ranked Lakers were more than familiar with their opponent in a third-seeded Moultonborough team they beat twice during the regular season. Sunapee used that familiarity to its advantage early, swinging its way to a 3-0 lead by the end of its first at-bat. Junior shortstop Rachel Malanga started things off for the Lakers with a triple to the right field wall and crossed the plate with the game's first run on this ground ball off the bat of Katie Frederick. Sunapee made it a 2-0 game moments later when Faith Larpenter's grounder back to the circle plated Meg Frederick, before senior catcher Lexi Hamilton's sacrifice fly to left center allowed Katie Frederick to score from third to up the lead to 3-0. The Lakers added a little insurance in the bottom of the third inning when Larpenter tallied her second RBI on this shot to the wall and right, before a Maltonborough error on a hard-hit grounder off the bat of Hamilton plated both Katie Frederick and Larpenter to round out the team's scoring. Katie Frederick was nothing short of dominant through 6 scoreless innings to begin the game, but the Panthers didn't go down quietly, crossing the plate with their first run in the 7th on this triple to the wall and left, and rounding out the game scoring on a ground out to third, followed by a close play at the plate. Sunapee played a solid game defensively behind Frederick, turning an impressive double play that started when right fielder Haley Morin hit the cutoff in what ended up being a nice out at the plate, and a heads-up throw from Hamilton to Larpenter for another out at third. Frederick finished with 4 strikeouts in all, including a timely K for the game's final out that prompted a well-deserved celebration after having clinched the first title in program history. Frederick said after the game she was confident her team would get out to another quick start like it did in its 3-0 win over Portsmouth Christian Academy in the semifinals.
After the break, we'll take a look at a few more championship teams from this past fall, including 2 in Newport and 1 more from, you guessed it, Sunapee.
The YCN News continues in a moment.